Whether we like to admit this or not, social media really affects the way we all act, react, and form opinions about things. Even if I talk about just myself, I have to admit that over the years, there has been a very significant influence of the internet and social media in how I choose to live my life. And that becomes very clear from certain choices that I make, like how I dress, what movies or shows I watch, what music I listen to, what places I travel to, what kind of memes I look at, my sense of humor, and truly the list goes on and on. And when I think about it, when I think about all of these ways in which social media impacts my life, I feel that it's a very good way of expanding your bases. You know what I mean? There have been so many times where I come across a profile or an artist who is involved in something that I really want to do or something that I've always been curious about. I've always felt like social media is a very good gateway to your interests that way. And if I'm being honest, when I say social media, I mainly just refer to things like Instagram and TikTok. Like, I'm not talking about Twitter and all, that's a whole other field. I don't want to get into that. But because I usually consume content through Instagram, so that's my main source of social media interaction, to be fair. So, yeah, I think these platforms have been very instrumental in exposing me to the right kind of artists, to the right kind of people who are doing things that I am, curious about or interested in, or just want to know more about from a distance as well. I may or may not want to necessarily pursue that in my life. For example, I love dancing. And even though, yes, reels have really messed up what dancing looks like these days, I still find it really interesting. And it's kind of my guilty pleasure to hop onto all these dance trends that keep going on. And I genuinely enjoy them. It's fun. Sometimes I just like to look at people doing things that I know I wouldn't ever be able to do, but it's still nice to look at them do those things. For example, I've never been much of a filming person. Like, I can't make good reels that ways. I always feel like I plan it one way in my head and my execution really fucks it all up. So, yeah, because I'm not exactly great at this, I feel very fascinated when I look at people making these amazing reels, and I I don't want to dismiss their work by calling it reels. It's genuinely art. It's like something straight out of a movie. And especially when they started using these film cameras and these old digital ones, it's really impressive, at least for me, because this is something that I don't find myself very good at, or I don't feel like I have that much knowledge about it. So, yeah, it's always good to see people do things that you're not exactly good at. And plus, it's art. So, that's always a plus point. Looking at something creative, that's always a plus point. So, in these ways, I feel that the internet has really been helpful for me in exploring my interests and also in the process finding like minded people. So I think it's like a nice way to form an online community and connect with people, which I know is very basic, but whenever it happens, it's a very wholesome moment that you find someone absolutely random from any corner of the world. You bond over this one thing that you have in common. It could be anything. And that's it. It's so simple. On some other occasions, I feel that social media and the internet are sources of such great darkness and negativity. I mean, you go to bed at night scrolling through memes, you send it to your friends, you have a little laugh, and then you wake up in the morning to some horrible news about someone getting murdered or someone getting sexually assaulted or just something very horrible happening in the world. And that is just not the way you want to start your day. And it's not always restricted to this horrible event happening. When you see how people react to it, when you see the kind of comments that people have about it, it just makes you lose all faith in humanity. On some other occasions, it's not as negative, but it just somehow triggers you. For example, you're just scrolling through your feed and suddenly you jump onto someone's post or story, and someone that you're not exactly a fan of, they're doing something that you really want in your life. And in that moment, you get pushed into a weird spiral of subtle envy, and you start enforcing critical timelines to your own life by looking at how other people are living their lives. And I'm very petty like that. If I see someone that I'm not exactly a big fan of, if I see them doing something that I like, or going to a place that I really want to, I just have this very weird reaction that what is this person doing there? Like, I mean, do they even deserve to do this? Do they even deserve to go there? And I know that is very childish, but that is just how I feel. I can't control it. And on some other occasions, I just feel like certain trends or certain things that are going around as popular on the internet, as trending, they're just kind of useless to me. I don't exactly relate to them, so it just seems like a waste of time in the moment. For example, we've had so many fashion trends and makeup trends and skincare trends lately. I just feel like, this is a little unnecessary and everyone should dress the way they want to. And I don't want some random quote unquote influencer on the internet telling me how to do my makeup or how I should dress. I mean, of course, it's good to learn about new things, but I'm sorry, I don't exactly need to follow that. And whenever I think about it, and even if I discuss this with other people, the biggest criticism or constructive feedback, if you want to call it, the biggest feedback that I get about such social media platforms is that it's fake. People are not being authentic. People are not exposing their true life or their true selves. So we're only seeing a part of it. And we're making a full opinion by interacting with a part of something or a part of someone, which I think is absolutely true. Whoever thinks this way is definitely coming from a very valid point of view. I mean, most people on the internet that we look at or we follow, they're not doing things to make our lives better, or they're not exactly keeping us in their minds while they're trying to create content or put out anything that they do on the internet. They mainly do it for one thing, and that's for making money and to build their own name and their own brand, which is fair. They're allowed to do that. It's just that we shouldn't believe whatever they are portraying to be the full truth, the whole truth. But there are also certain profiles, certain pages where I see people being so real. It makes me realize that these people are putting in so much effort to just put out information to create awareness about certain things, or simply teach other people things that they're basic but they're still important. Like, there are pages where it's just a parent making lunchbox meals for their kid, or it's a young woman teaching other women to do basic household technical things, like how to fix a pipe or how to read an electric meter or how to change a tire. Basic but important things like that. So when I look at such creators, I feel like not all of them are doing it for money. Or even if they are, they still hold on to their original idea of making other people's lives better, to send out an important message, to send out an important learning. And talking about learning, I think the biggest help, the biggest guidance, the biggest support system that I've gotten from social media and the internet is my faith. Of course, it's not the source of it, but social media has been very, very crucial in the way I have built my faith and my belief system. And it has also been very important in me finding a community that also believes in the same things. And lastly, I feel that social media is such a big source of entertainment for me. And of course, I mean the reels and the memes and the posts and the videos and everything that people put up. But also, there are certain trends, certain ideas, and certain lifestyle concepts, I think, that go around on the internet. And looking at them just makes me feel so happy in a very weird way. For example, there is this one thing going around on the internet, and I wouldn't call it a trend, also, it's more like a lifestyle concept, and that is the delusional girl, the Delulu girl concept. Like earlier, we'd call it manifestation, we'd call it affirmations, we'd call it visualizing your best life, and now it's just turned into a point of delusional girl where people are just creating imaginary scenarios and blindly believing it to be the truth and following it as if that's their life for real. And I know so many people have so many issues with this, that, oh, you're being unrealistic or you are being detached from reality. There are also some people who think that this concept is wrongly appropriating the word delusional because it's an actual psychological thing. And then there are other people who just don't like seeing other people be happy. So they're cribbing about it as well. But I think, especially as a woman on the internet and in this age and stage in life, I think initially we had that independent girl phase where you're working, you're hustling, you're securing the bag, doing all of it. Then came a little soft girl wala phase where you're connecting to nature, you are connecting with your feminine side without any kind of negative quality associated with it, like guilt or shame or whatever. And it also sort of included pursuing your love lives and basically living out that soft girl life, I guess. And now I think we're on to this delusional girl, Delulu girl. I think Delulu is such a cute and funny word. I use it every day. I use it in almost every conversation without any shame because we've tried the hard work thing. We have tried doing all other things that support the hard work thing, connecting with ourselves, being truly happy in our body, in our mind, in our being. We've done that. Now it's time for us to be so blindly delulu. I don't have another word for it. It's time for us to be so delusional and simply believe these as fact that life is going to work out the way we want. It's just plain simple blind belief. And I think this is one of my favorite things going on the internet at this point. And while we're talking about one of my favorite things going on the internet, I just like to slide in one thing that I really don't enjoy that's going around right now, and that is this old money trend. It is so stupid. I mean, I don't have any issue in people dressing the way that they want, even if it's this quiet luxury, minimalistic, neutral wala dressing. It's fine. You do you. But if there's someone like Sophia Richie who's giving out these fashion tips or lifestyle advice about the old money aesthetic, I'd take it. I'd blindly receive it because that is a person who knows what they're talking about because they are actually old money. They come from that kind of a lifestyle. But I don't need some random influencer from West Delhi who goes to H&M and is making these reels like how to look like old money on a budget. Like, do you realize how contradictory that is? Like, it just defeats the whole purpose because it's not about looking like old money, it's about being old money, right? But yeah, I think there are pros and cons to everything. And one of the biggest pros for me would be the fact that the internet has really helped me grow as a person. It has given me the kind of access that I needed to the right kind of resources, the right kind of people, the right kind of places. And I'm genuinely very grateful for that. On the flip side, I really hate social media for messing with my head, for giving me very unrealistic expectations from my life. And I don't mean it in a very serious way, I mean it in a very stupid sense. Like sometimes I really hate the internet for making me feel so left out. Like everyone that I see is going to the gym. भाई मुझे नहीं जाना gym. I just don't want to. But for some reason, I have this very weird pressure in my head that because everyone's doing it and because this is a good thing, this is not exactly a bad thing. So I should also do that. I should also become one of the gym bros. I have no business doing that. I don't even belong in the gym, but I'm still doing it. I don't know why, but I'm also liking it. I don't know why. And another very ridiculous thing happened with me. I think most of last year, I saw everyone that I knew going to Goa. So I had such major FOMO that I decided ki if not that year, like the last year, I'll go to Goa this year in the following year. And I did. I did make that plan happen. I had my fun and everything. And it took me a year to reach Goa. And now everyone went to Europe. Now, why is everyone in fucking Europe? I hate you all. Like, you all can't let me have one moment, one achievement in peace. What is this behavior? Let me enjoy it. And honestly, I got so sick of people living out their European summer life so much that I just deactivated my Instagram account. Like, I just don't want to look at it. It's very childish, but it does ruin my day every time that I look at it. Because I also want to be in Europe. I want to be sitting in the sun having pasta and drinking wine. I want to do that. So I've realized that it's also just as important to take a break, to take yourself out of this cycle and, look at your life minus the lens of social media. You look at it for what it is, and then you can have actual conclusions, actual observations, actual expectations from everything around you. And especially for a person like me who gets so easily inspired, who gets so easily motivated, who gets so easily influenced by anything, I just think I need to have more self control, if nothing else. But at the end of the day, one lesson I think that all of us should take with us is that being Delulu is the only Solulu. This is episode 6 of Thought World Social.